What happens when one of country music's most respected voices finds himself cornered by a morning show host who refuses to let controversial questions go? That's exactly what unfolded when Chris Stapleton sat down for what was supposed to be a routine appearance on the Today Show. Instead of a smooth promotional interview about his new album and upcoming tour, viewers witnessed an explosive clash that ended with Stapleton walking off the set, leaving millions stunned and the entertainment world buzzing. This wasn't just another awkward exchange on live television. It was a raw collision between artistic integrity and aggressive journalism, and it spiraled faster than anyone expected. The morning had started like any other. Stapleton arrived at the studio prepared to discuss his music, his tour, and perhaps share a performance for fans watching at home. But from the moment he settled into the chair across from the host, the conversation began to twist in a direction no one anticipated. After a few pleasantries and brief praise for his chart-topping record, the host leaned in with a sharp pivot. "But I have to ask you about something making waves on social media." Stapleton's expression changed, subtle but unmistakable. He straightened, his shoulders stiffening as he replied firmly, "I'm here to talk about the music, so let's focus on that." But the host pressed on. "Surely you understand that your platform comes with responsibility. Your fans want guidance on the issues affecting this country." With calm restraint, Stapleton pushed back. "My responsibility is to my music and my family. I've always believed that songs speak louder than political statements." That response opened the door wider. The host wasted no time, pointing to lyrics from his latest song, Broken Promises, suggesting they carried obvious political undertones. Stapleton leaned back, visibly uncomfortable but unwavering. "Every song comes from a personal place. People are free to interpret it how they want. But I'm not going to sit here and decode every lyric for political meaning." Still, the questions grew more pointed. "But Chris, don't you feel an obligation to use your voice for something bigger than just entertainment?" Stapleton's tone sharpened. "My voice is in my music. That's where I put my heart, my beliefs, my experiences. I'm not a politician. I'm a songwriter." The host leaned forward, relentless. "Come on, Chris, your fans deserve to know where you stand. Are you supporting the current administration or not?" The studio went quiet. Stapleton's jaw tightened as he locked eyes with the host. "We agreed this interview would be about the album. I came here in good faith to talk about music, not to be ambushed with political questions." The word ambushed only fueled the fire. "I'm asking legitimate questions your fans want answered. You can't just hide behind your songs when real issues are at stake." Stapleton's hands gripped the arms of his chair. His voice rose for the first time. "I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm choosing not to turn this into a political circus. There's a difference." The host shot back. "So you don't care about the issues affecting your fans? Isn't that selfish for someone in your position?" That was the breaking point. Stapleton stood abruptly, his mic pack clattering against the chair. "This interview is over. I came here to talk about music, not to be lectured by someone with an agenda." The host, sensing drama, pressed even harder. "So you're just going to walk away when things get uncomfortable? Is that the message you want to send?" Stapleton turned, his voice deadly calm. "The message I want to send is that some things are more important than playing games for television ratings." The host refused to let up. "But Chris, these are serious questions. Your fans deserve answers." Stapleton spun back toward the desk, anger breaking through his calm exterior. "My fans deserve respect, something you clearly don't understand. They deserve an artist who stays true to himself, not someone who bends to every political wind just to score a soundbite." The tension in the studio was unbearable. Crew members exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether to intervene. But the host, emboldened by the unfolding drama, pressed once more. "So you're saying your fans don't deserve to know what you really think about the direction of this country?" Stapleton's voice carried both frustration and finality. "What I think about this country's direction is in every song I've ever written. If you actually listened to the music instead of fishing for headlines, you'd know exactly where I stand." The host shuffled papers and read from Stapleton's own lyrics, highlighting lines about broken promises, corruption, and inequality. But Stapleton cut him off, his patience gone. "Those lyrics are about human experience, not partisan politics. Good music transcends political boundaries. It speaks to something deeper than whatever headline dominates the news cycle." This week, the host smirked. "So you believe your music is above politics? Isn't that a little naive?" Stapleton's fists clenched at his sides. "I believe my music is about truth. There's a difference between writing about real struggles and pandering to political movements for applause." With that, he walked off set, leaving the host with a forced smile and an audience left to replay the moment over and over again. What should have been a simple promotional appearance became a cultural flashpointer, reminder of the fine line between art, responsibility, and the media's hunger for controversy. Injustice. The host said coolly, is just another form of privilege. You have millions of fans who look up to you. Chris, and you've chosen to stay comfortable instead of speaking out. Stapleton gave a bitter laugh. Comfortable? You think this is comfortable? Having my integrity dragged across national television, that's a luxury to you. Your integrity is exactly what I'm questioning. The host shot back. Can you really claim to care about working families while refusing to take a stand on policies that affect them every day? The accusation hit like a punch. Stapleton's face went pale, then flushed red. You don't know the first thing about what I care about or how I choose to make a difference, he said tightly. Then enlighten us. The host leaned forward. Tell your fans where you stand on healthcare, immigration, economic justice. Use this platform for something meaningful, something more than just selling albums. Everything I do is meaningful. Stapleton fired back. Every song, every show, every note I pour into the world. Just because I don't plaster politics across my art doesn't mean I'm not making a difference. The host smirked. But art without action, that's just entertainment. At what point do you stop hiding behind your guitar and start taking real responsibility? Stapleton took a step closer, voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Don't you dare tell me what responsibility looks like. I've written songs that carried people through their darkest nights. I've raised money for disaster relief, stood by veterans, given younger artists a voice. But I guess none of that matters because I won't hand you a soundbite for your agenda. Those are nice gestures, Chris, the host replied evenly, but they're safe. They don't cost you anything. They don't risk your position in this industry. Safe. Stapleton's voice thundered through the studio. You think it's safe to put your heart into every lyric, knowing millions will tear it apart. You think it's safe to stand on stage, night after night, bleeding your soul to strangers. The host pressed on, relentless. I think it's safe to avoid taking stances that might split your fan base. I think it's safe to let others fight the hard battles while you profit from neutrality. Stapleton's hands trembled with barely contained rage. You have no idea what battles I fight or what I've sacrificed for this art. Just because I don't parade every opinion doesn't mean I'm hiding. Then prove it, the host said. Right here, right now. Tell us where you stand. The only thing I need to prove, Stapleton growled, is that I won't be bullied into betraying my values for your ratings. Frustration flickered across the host's face. Let's talk about those values. Is it valuable to stay silent while families are torn apart by policy? Is it valuable to protect your career instead of speaking truth to power? Stapleton's voice dropped to a calm so sharp it cut. My values aren't up for debate on your morning show. They're in every note I play, every word I sing, every choice I make. And that's the problem, the host said, shuffling his papers with theatrical precision. Your fans don't want riddles and metaphors anymore. They want leadership, someone willing to say what needs to be said. Stapleton laughed, but the sound was cold, humorless. Leadership. You think leadership is handing out easy answers. Real leadership is helping people find their own strength, their own truth, their own voice. That sounds like a cop-out. Chris, the host leaned in, eyes sharp. Leadership means taking a stand when it matters, not hiding behind poetic platitudes. I'm not hiding, Stapleton snapped. I'm refusing to let you twist this into a political ambush. There's a difference between leadership and performative activism for your television ratings. Performative activism. The host's voice rose with indignation. Is that what you think this is? That's what you call using your platform for social good. The host pressed. That's what you call caring about something bigger than your next album sale. Stapleton stepped closer to the desk, his presence looming. Don't you dare question my commitment to social good. I've done more for communities in need through quiet action than you'll ever do with loud rhetoric. Quiet action doesn't inspire change. Chris, people need their heroes to take bold stands. They need to know you'll fight for what's right. What's right, Stapleton said, his voice trembling with controlled fury, is staying true to who you are, instead of turning into whatever the media wants. Sensing blood, the host pushed harder. So you're saying you don't care about voting rights, about healthcare access, climate change, the issues defining the next generation? Stop putting words in my mouth, Stapleton snapped. Of course I care, but caring doesn't mean I have to perform that caring for your cameras. This isn't performance, Chris, it's responsibility. When you have millions of fans, silence becomes complicity. Stapleton's palms slammed against the desk, the crack reverberating through the studio. The host flinched. Complicity. Stapleton spat. You want to talk about complicity? Let's talk about how you ambushed me with questions we never agreed on. How you're trying to manipulate me into giving you clips for your highlight reel. The host recovered quickly, emboldened. I'm trying to get you to be honest with your fans instead of hiding behind a carefully crafted persona. This isn't a persona. Stapleton roared, composure breaking at last. This is who I am, a songwriter, a musician, someone who believes art can heal wounds, politics only make deeper. Art doesn't vote. Chris, the host shot back. It doesn't change laws. It doesn't protect vulnerable people from harmful policies. Art does something greater, Stapleton fired back. It reminds people of their humanity when the world is trying to strip it away. It builds bridges, while politicians burn them down. The host rolled his eyes. Pretty words. Meanwhile, people suffer while you cling to artistic purity. Purity. Stapleton's voice cracked with disbelief. This isn't about purity. It's about authenticity. About refusing to be a puppet for anyone's political agenda, including yours. My agenda? The host leaned forward. My agenda is getting honest answers for your fans. Don't they deserve to know who they're supporting when they buy your music? They're supporting someone who respects them enough to let the music speak for itself. Stapleton replied. Someone who won't insult their intelligence by pretending every complex issue has a simple solution. The host's smile sharpened. But some issues do have simple solutions, don't they? Like basic human decency. Treating all people with respect. Stapleton's voice dropped to a warning whisper. Don't you dare suggest I lack basic decency because I won't play your political games. I'm not suggesting anything, the host said smoothly. I'm asking direct questions. You're deflecting with emotional outbursts. Stapleton laughed harshly. Outbursts. You ambush me with politics after promising to talk music. You question my integrity. You attack my character, and when I push back, you call it an outburst. I call it what it is, the host pressed. Deflection. From someone unwilling to take responsibility for his influence. My influence is in my music, Stapleton said, voice shaking with rage. In the lives touched by my songs, my shows, the real connections I make. Art transcends politics. Does it really, Chris? The host countered. Or is that just your excuse for avoiding hard stands? The question hung heavy. Stapleton's anger shifted, hardening into something cold, resolute. You're right about one thing, he said at last. Art doesn't transcend everything. It doesn't transcend disrespect, or manipulation, or bad faith journalism. The host leaned in, sensing victory. So you admit your so-called idealism is just a convenient excuse to dodge real positions? No, Stapleton said, suddenly calm, dangerously calm. The studio seemed to still around him. I admit I was naive. I thought I could have an honest conversation with someone who actually wanted to listen. Instead, you came here with your narrative locked in. I've been listening, Chris, the host pressed, listening to rambling philosophy and deflection, but no real answers about where you stand. Stapleton nodded slowly, as if something finally clicked. You want a concrete answer? Fine, here's one. I stand with artists who refuse to be bullied into political theater by asterisk journalists more interested in controversy than truth. Stapleton said flatly. That's not an answer, the host shot back. That's another deflection. It's the only answer you're getting, Stapleton replied, reaching down to unclip his mic. Because I'm done pretending this is anything but an ambush dressed up as an interview. The host's eyes widened as he realized what was happening. Chris, wait, we're not finished. Your fans are watching. They deserve to hear your full thoughts on these issues. My fans, Stapleton said, pulling the mic pack from his belt, deserve better than watching me get manipulated by someone who thinks gotcha journalism is the same as accountability. So you're just going to walk away, right? Here, on live television. Stapleton paused, the cord dangling in his hand. I'm going to do what I should have done the moment you broke your word about what this interview would cover. I'm going to show some self-respect. The host scoffed. This looks like a tantrum, like someone who can't handle tough questions about his responsibilities as a public figure. Stapleton stopped cold. He turned back, his face carved in steel. You want to talk about responsibility. Real responsibility is keeping your word. Real responsibility is respecting your guests. Real responsibility is journalism that seeks truth, not manufactured controversy. I am seeking truth. Chris, the truth about whether you'll use your platform for more than just personal profit. Profit. Stapleton's voice thundered through the studio. You think this is about profit? I've turned down more money, more deals, more so-called opportunities than you can imagine because they didn't align with my values. I've sacrificed career paths rather than compromise who I am. Then why not take a stand here? The host pressed. Because there's a difference. Stapleton shot back. A stand is conviction. What you're after is a soundbite, and real conviction doesn't need a camera to prove it exists. The host leaned in, desperate. Chris, think about what you're doing. Think about the message this sends to young artists who look up to you. Are you teaching them to run away when things get difficult? Stapleton stopped in his tracks. He turned one last time, disappointment mingling with resolve. I'm teaching them they don't have to accept disrespect just because there's a microphone pointed at them. I'm teaching them integrity means walking away when staying compromises your values. Or maybe, the host countered, you're teaching them that when you can't control the narrative, you take your ball and go home. No, Stapleton said, his voice calm, now calm, in a way that felt more dangerous than anger. I'm teaching them the difference between a conversation and an interrogation. and I'm teaching them that not every platform deserves their presence, especially ones built on deception. The host faltered, realizing control had slipped completely from his hands. Chris, please, let's reset. Let's talk about the music. Isn't that what you wanted? Stapleton almost smiled, but there was no warmth in it. 30 minutes ago, maybe, but you've shown your hand. You've shown your word means nothing. Sensationalism mattered more to you than honest dialogue. I was doing my job, the host insisted, asking the hard questions. Your job, Stapleton said, setting the mic down on the desk with deliberate care, was to honor the agreement we made. Instead, you chose spectacle over integrity. The studio fell silent. Only the hum of cameras filled the air as crew members froze, unsure whether to intervene or just keep rolling on a moment already becoming television history. This isn't over. Chris, the host warned. You can't just walk away from legitimate questions about your role in society. Stapleton paused at the edge of the set, glanced back, and delivered the final blow with quiet finality. Watch me. With that, Chris Stapleton walked off the Today Show set, leaving the host scrambling to salvage what was left of the segment while millions of viewers witnessed one of the most dramatic exits in morning TV history. The entertainment world would spend weeks dissecting every word, every gesture, every implication. But the message was crystal clear. Sometimes walking away is the strongest statement you can make.